gotta go. I'll get my car. I brought mine. Yours. I gotta get me one of those.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bat Dance Discussions, and happy 2026. Crime at Christmas time is over, it is a new year, and things are back to normal. But we have a pretty exciting topic to talk about today. Stranger Things. Oh, forgot to put out happy 2026. Stranger Things. And I'm really excited for this to be the first stream of the new year. There's a lot of big changes happening on this channel. Some good, some kind of sad, but we'll get into that later and later on as we get on into the year. But please welcome as I bring on my special guest for today, TheCurlyRay. How are you, man?
Hey, yo, what's going on, Bat Dan? How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing really well right now. I'm really pumped. I'm really excited to talk about this topic today with Stranger Things and theaters and a lot of great stuff to talk about.
Yeah, so am I, man. I really been enjoying Stranger Things and can't wait to talk about this with you, bro.
Yeah, 100%. But before we get into that, just so people know, for right now, we are spoiler free. So I'm actually going to just quickly remind the chat. For now, finale spoiler free. So I'm just going to pin this in the chat too, so if people come in later, they know that we are not putting any spoilers in the chat right now, guys. Okay, so let's keep this spoiler free. We will talk about the finale. We will get into spoilers, and then the spoiler warning will be lifted, or the spoiler ban will be lifted, I should say. So we will get into that later. But for now, we have a lot of stuff, non-spoiler stuff to talk about. But before we get into Stranger Things, just want to remind everyone, on Pi Day, 3/14, One Punch Stand comes out in theaters. And Side Writers put a lot of work into this. It's a love letter to the community. It's going to be a really great movie. I'm really excited to see it. I still have not seen it yet because I want to save this for the in-person. What up, Zod? Thanks for stopping by. But this will be a really exciting, which, actually funny that you came up right as we were talking One Punch Stand. But yeah, this will be a really exciting movie. I'm really excited for everyone to see this. It's going to be great. So March 14th, check out One Punch Stand. Anything you want to say to that, TheCurlyRay?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to One Punch Dan. I know Zod Ryder's been working behind the scenes of this movie for a long time, and I can't wait to see what he's been cooking up.
100%. 100%. So guys, check out March 14th, One Punch Stand. And now, let's get on to Stranger Things. So, I don't know if you saw this comment. Oh, interesting. Are any of these changes the removal of a useless character? Like a character whose initials are JJ by any chance? But anyways. I don't know if you saw this comment. Did you see this comment by Finn Wolfhard? So this is a guy who plays Mike on Stranger Things. Did you see what he said about the whole acquisition of Warner Brothers?
Oh, I did not see I think if you show it to me, I may have seen it, but I don't know from this topic specifically.
Yeah. So this is an interview from Esquire with Finn Wolfhard. And we're not going to go through the whole interview. I want to just bring up a specific part of the interview. So we're at this huge transitional period for the industry. Stranger Things is ending and Netflix is about to buy Warner Brothers, and I don't know what that's going to look like. Consolidating and trying to have a monopoly on film is not going to work. Streaming is amazing and streaming should be able to have its place, but it shouldn't kill theaters. So that's what he said. And before I give my thoughts, what's your thoughts about that comment?
So, from what he's saying, if he's saying it in the way that, hey, streaming shouldn't kill theaters, I don't know exactly if he's meaning if this is his way of saying that, oh, Netflix is going to kill theaters and all that. Or if or if he's saying, hey, streaming has its own place, but Netflix ain't going to kill theaters. I'm going to take this as if he's saying that, hey, Netflix has the place for streaming and they're going to still continue to have theatrical releases. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm taking out of this.
And I'm hoping it's that way too, because I wouldn't like him throwing shade at his employer right when the finale is going to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Zod. I know. It's just, I mean, I always think like these actors need to be very careful when speaking on their employers for when their big projects are coming out because it's not the best look in my opinion. And again, maybe he didn't mean it like that, but I'm just saying, a monopoly would be two theatrical studios merging into one, like Paramount or Universal. So let's. I think he needs to choose his words more carefully, and yeah, but I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of that comment, honestly, especially again, about your employer. So I don't know. Just my opinion, but we'll see. I mean, does he have a point though? Because there's this rumor that's about to come out. Oh, I know, Zod. I know. I know 100%. But let's see about the. Hold on. So there's a rumor coming out right now about. So we're going to share more of this article later on, but there's one thing I want to share here. So where do we start? Okay, so post Netflix firming up its bid for Warner Brothers, Sarandos has changed his tune, telling media there's been a lot of theatrical distribution, so we want to set the record straight. We are 100% committed to releasing Warner Brothers films in theaters with industry standard windows. The town continues to worry what traditional means for Netflix. Sources have told Deadline that Netflix have been proponents of a 17-day window, which would steamroll theatrical business, while circuits such as AMC believe the line needs to be held around 45 days. So, a lot of people were talking about this. Just so people know, this is rumor. This is speculation. This is not confirmed. What up, Guitar?
What's up, Guitar? How you doing, man?
TheCurlyRay, what's your thoughts about this?
Honestly, if this is, let's just say if this is true, I really don't see this as an issue because it's 17 days. And I think anybody can literally go out and make it to a theatrical release for 17 days. Let's just say if this is what it is, okay? If it is, I don't see any issue with it because I've seen a bunch of anime movies that came out in probably the same amount of days shown in theaters and all that, and they made bank. Stranger Things made bank in the theaters. But I'll get into that here in a minute. But I really do not. I'm not going to take this as it is 100% guaranteed because I also think that here, hold up a second. Sorry. 17 days makes sense because movies make all their money in the first week anyway. That is true, Zalrider. That is true. And at the same time, it also could be another narrative because Stranger Things is out in theaters right now and they're trying to like still push these negative Netflix receptions by pushing out narratives like these. And it's bullshit. So even if this is true, I have no deal with it, to be honest with you. But at the same time, it could be more people trying to push in a lot of weird narratives, which is how I see this. So, and another thing too, if you see how well Stranger Things is doing in theaters right now, it's made over $25 million in theaters. And it was selling out like crazy in like multiple theaters for, just New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, just 2 days. So they're making bank off of these theatrical releases. So I don't really see a problem with them doing the 17-day window release. I think it honestly works. So I have no issue with this.
I have mixed feelings about it, to be honest. So, like, and again, I don't necessarily believe this is 100% true, but let's just say for a moment it is, just for the sake of argument. I would prefer something more like AMC, like 45 days, honestly. But I mean, it's one of those things that we have to see how it works, honestly, right? Because I do agree with Zod, I do agree with you. Most theaters make their money in the first week, and this I would say the second week, and definitely the third week. It is questionable how much money theatrical theaters make after 3 weeks. But the way I look at it too, they can also shift based on the movie's popularity. If let's say they release, let's just say Zack Snyder Justice League 2. If they release that in theaters and after week 3 they're still getting big bank, they can keep it in theaters longer. If they, let's say this movie's not really doing that well in theaters, they can maybe push it to streaming sooner. That's the thing. Like they can always adapt. And what up, Sin Havoc? Thanks for stopping by. And so I would say at the end of the day, this it I don't like I always say like with theatrical releases and how many days they need to be in theaters, it's not a one size fits all cap to me. I mean, I think there's certain movies that need to be in theaters longer. There's certain movies that don't need to be in theaters long. And it just depends at the end of the day. But remember, guys, this is not guaranteed, especially because Sin Havoc's so insistent that Netflix owns AMC and AMC believes 45 days. Again, they might right. Netflix might compromise. Netflix, I'm bad at math right now, but okay, hold on a second. What's the average? What's between 45 and 17? So 17 plus 45 divided by 2, 31. They could do maybe 31 days in theaters to meet in the middle. So, but honestly, though, theaters have been dying way before this whole thing happened. Like theaters, they were overcharging a lot of money for popcorn. They're charging a lot of. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Zodwriter, 100%. They're charging a lot for soda. You're on mute.
Oh, sorry about that. So, what I was gonna say was, if they did this for me and Leon when we saw it at the theater, Sky obviously got his food for free because he went to Egyptian theater. They had vouchers where you can get $10 off of your food if you purchase a ticket for Stranger Things. And they literally that's the thing, Netflix is finding new ways for people to get people back into to the seats. Because Netflix is, like, literally paying for most of your food by doing that.
Oh yeah, and which I'm really glad because we'll get into that very soon. And Sin Havoc, I was doing the average of 17 and 45, not necessarily a perfect median. So I did 17 plus 45 divided by 2. But yeah, blame Sin Havoc for everything. Oh.
Hashtag Netflix feeds and nerds. They sure
That's a
do.
good one, Zod. That's a good one. But yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, we don't know if this is true. And if this is true, it might not be a bad thing. I'm not going to lie and say I don't have my concerns. But at the end of the day, Netflix can always adapt. If there's a movie that is making good money in theaters, nothing's stopping them from keeping it out longer. If there's a movie that's not doing that well in theaters, they can just do 17 days and put it straight to streaming. And it saves money. So this may not be a bad thing after all. And besides, Netflix has done a lot for Stranger Things with Theatrical. So let me share my screen. So we're going to go back to that same article and we're going to go on top. So here we are. So sources are telling us this morning that Stranger Things, and this morning as of January 2nd, finale cleared well north of 25 million, possibly 30 millions in concession cash to movie theaters over its New Year's Eve and New Year's Day play. Of that figure, 15 million generated by the number one circuit, AMC, off an attendance of 753,000. By comparison, 20th Century Studios' Avatar, Fire and Ash, the number one grossing film of the season, made a combined 23.7 million over New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So basically, Expedition couldn't charge tickets to Netflix given the cast contractual terms for residuals. Hence, the streamer and circuit got around this by reserving seats with concession vouchers. At AMC, such concession vouchers cost $20 per seat. At 231 locations, AMC had a bit more than a third of the total theater count showing Stranger Things. AMC estimates more than half of Stranger Things fans watch the finale in a movie theater, do so at an AMC venue. So I find this very interesting because, oh God, are we going to get a whole thing about Sin Havoc being God here? Is this going to be a thing now? Oh boy. Anyways, here's a fact that a lot of people don't know. Do you know, TheCurlyRay, do you know how theaters actually make most of their money in general?
You have to tell me that.
Concessions.
Really?
Yeah, because with the tickets for a movie, you have to share that with the studio. So if I'm going to see, we'll say the Flash movie, I bought a ticket to the Flash movie. Half of that, I mean, I think it's about half went to the studio, went to Warner Brothers. But the popcorn and the icy that I bought, that went to the theaters 100%.
Wow. And
So
with the whole theatrical numbers, I believe they're real. Because let me tell y'all something. I almost did not see Stranger Things, the finale in theaters, because I went to Nashville. Is it a good time to talk about this in this topic specifically, or
you'll have your own topic for your specific experience.
okay? I didn't know if I should add on to this
Um,
or
mm, if it's about your experience specifically, maybe save it to the next topic. But you will get to talk about it either way. But
Okay, I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way before I get to that. So for these theatrical numbers, they're real because the the theaters have been selling out with Stranger Things tickets. I'll put it that way. They've been selling out like crazy. So
yeah, and that's really good for the theaters. And it's so funny. People are like laughing at Netflix, like, oh my God, Netflix didn't make any profit off this. Ha ha ha, Netflix, Netflix. And I'm like, okay, so here's the way I look at this. Netflix is in the process of buying Warner Brothers. They're going to get into the theatrical business. If you're a smart businessman, wouldn't you want to help rejuvenate theaters a little bit?
yep.
And that's the thing. I've said Netflix is saving theaters. And this is a good way to save theaters, is they help theaters stay afloat. They got their big cash cow in concessions. So a lot of people went because it's nice because you don't have to pay for a ticket because so many people buy concessions anyways. So it's funny. So many people buy concessions anyways. So it's a really nice deal that you could get to go to the theater and you don't have to pay a ticket. You just have to buy the concessions and that's it. That's a really good deal. But it made a lot of people show up to the theaters. All those theaters made money right now. All those theaters, if let's say there's like one of those theaters were struggling, like there was an AMC in an area that wasn't getting a lot of attendance, they just got a lot more time now. This was a great move for theaters right now. And Netflix is investing in their future. Even if they didn't make a lot of profit right now at this point in time, you got to think big picture here. It's what Zawrider and I were talking about on a recent stream where like people were worried about Netflix stock being low because they bought Warner Brothers. Well, yeah, it's low in the short term, but long term it's going to be a huge investment. So it's still good going forward. So I guess TheCurlyRay, what's your thoughts on this?
Yo, so like Netflix, they have, they like you said, they've been wanting to get into theaters for a long time. And I even think with them doing these theatrical releases is also a test in the waters because, think about how much they can make with these theatrical releases that they're doing. Even with ZSJL 2 and 3, can you imagine what the theatrical release is going to look like for that? I even think that we're going to get the Emerald Cut in theaters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think we will too. Because it will be a new movie. Because it will be a new movie that wasn't technically seen before. Yeah, most of it will be the same, but there'll be new scenes. Because I still think the Emerald Cut also will include the intended version of the Batman Joker scene that Zack Snyder wanted, where
Yep.
Joker says we live in a society. The line that was shown in the trailer and they cut out because
You know
it
what I
was
think they're going to
stupid.
do? I think they'll release a PG-13 and a director's cut for both the Emerald Cut.
They might do that. They might maybe put the PG-13 cut in theaters and maybe they'll make the R-rated cut the Netflix exclusive. And they might do that for ZSJL 2 and 3. They might Rebel Moon that,
Yep.
basically.
Yep,
And
I think they will.
put the PG-13 cuts in theaters and put the director's cuts on straight on Netflix. And this is a great revolution, though, because now, I mean, think about this. People never thought of putting a TV series in theaters. Like this, I mean, has a TV series ever been in theaters before?
They've had animes episodes have theatrical releases, like uh Dragon Ball Daima was actually shown. I don't know if it was. I think it was for like a limited time. They showed the English dub for like 3 episodes in theaters, and then Demon Slayer they had where I wouldn't say that it was like the actual episodes, but they would have these events where they play the last 2 episodes of the last season and then play the first episode of the new season. That's like over 40 minutes long. And seeing those in the theater was so dope. So they done it for animes. I don't know if they done it for like other shows, but I know they done it for anime.
Okay, so they done it for anime, but still, it's not. it's something that's a lot more known now to the general public. So this is a great this is a big revolution.
Yep.
Funny, a revolution, but
Oh, Cobra has been in theaters. Okay.
still though, I thought this was really cool that Netflix did this. So I'm really it's really nice to see Netflix expanding the business model, helping theaters get ahead. And as Sin Havoc insists that they own AMC in a way, then if that is true, Netflix did actually make a profit off this directly too. But that's speculation. Okay. Anyway, let's move on to this now. So before we get into that, I want to show something real quickly. Where is that image? Here, let me take this banner out. So look at that. Look at that. We got the Curly Ray at the Stranger Things.
Regal Theaters, yeah. That's what they had at the mall. Yo, what y'all think about my jacket in the picture, by the way?
Can't see it that well. The picture doesn't really.
Oh yeah, I would have to. It's a Dragon Ball one, but
Okay.
yeah, I was actually kind of geeking out with some anime when I was up there. I ain't gonna lie, but I actually bought this shirt at the Hot Topic that was in the mall. But yeah, um, right before I get to that, I want to go too off topic, but I did actually get a couple of Funko Pops up there too. I got this one from Sakamoto Days and Xerxes from 300.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, I gotta pick these up. Goku, yep. And that jacket's comfortable.
And you need a jacket because it's winter.
Oh yeah, definitely. I got two of them. I got a Rebel Moon one and that Dragon Ball one. They are both comfortable and warm. So anyway, to talk about my theatrical experience of seeing Stranger Things, I almost did not see the finale in theaters because, like what I was talking about before, the Regal Theater at this mall in Nashville. Before we were heading down here, I checked to see if there were any tickets available and they had like 4 showings during the New Year's Eve showings. They had 4 screens and they were all almost sold out. There was one that wasn't sold out, but the only seats they had available for it was handicap seats. That was it. So I didn't think I would be able to see this in theaters. So we go to the mall and I go to the theater just to see if maybe they had some seats available. Just maybe. I wasn't expecting it, but then I went up there, and whenever I went in there, they opened up a new screen for Stranger Things just as I walked into the theater. As soon as I found that out, I got my tickets, and even that theater, that screen that I went to get my ticket at, because I was the first person to get a ticket for that screen, later on, it filled up completely. No joke. It filled up completely. And there were even people in the theater telling others that it was it was packed outside. There was a lot of people in there. And I don't doubt them. Because every single other screening was sold out. Even the town that I go to, that's like an hour away from me, their screening was sold out too. Because I went on their website, sold out, sold out, sold out. All of this was sold out. And the experience of hold on a second. Okay, anyway. Had to cough. But the experience of seeing this was awesome. Like everybody was cheering on, everyone was clapping. The moments in this movie were really incredible, and it was an awesome experience. Almost like in game, or I should say it may have been like Endgame if I really think about it, because like this may sound crazy. My theater was kind of empty when I saw No Way Home. No lie, and I'm actually surprised for saying that. But that whole event that I went to, it was felt almost like Endgame. It was awesome, and it's no surprise why that Stranger Things finale made over $25 million during its limited theatrical release. It's selling out like crazy. It's no surprise that it made this much money, but my experience was awesome. It was amazing, and I'm super happy I got to see this in theaters, and it was awesome.
I'm glad you got to see it in theaters. I do have to confess, I did not see this movie in theaters myself. The reason for being is that on New Year's Eve, when the showings were in the evening, I personally do not like being out on New Year's Eve. I worry about other drivers who may be impaired, and I was not going to wait till New Year's Day because I was not going to have that thing spoiled for me. And also, New Year's Day is when I take down my Christmas decorations because I do not like having it up past New Year's. So, but yeah, I'm really glad you got to see it in theaters though. And I'm really glad you had a great time with it. And I'm glad you were able to verify that, yeah, your theater was packed and people wanted to see it because it was a popular show. People, like, regardless of what people actually thought of the finale, and we'll get into our thoughts on the finale itself and like the season 5 in general, because I know season 5 has been kind of ripped to shreds on social media. People still went to see it. People still wanted to see it. People were still excited to see it. And Netflix did a lot of smart marketing. Like I saw, for example, I watched the 2 football games on Netflix on Christmas Day when they were live streaming them. They had ads for Stranger Things. Like they had Stranger Things related ads. They had there was one ad where Mr. Wheeler was at Target buying something from. He's like that weird guy who has a crush on Nancy. I forget his name, but he's like the long haired guy who worked in the arcade and the video store.
Oh, oh. Okay, I thought you were talking about the Hellfire Club dude.
No, not the Hellfire Club dude. He was in it since season 2, maybe 1. I don't think he was in 1.
Man, I can't remember which character it was because it's been a while since I've seen season 2.
Oh yeah, you do have a long way to go.
Man, it's all rare. You have to watch. You gotta catch up, man. It's super dope. I'll be honest, I've never watched Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I mean, season 8 was bad. Like I don't want to get too far into our review right now, but I will say it is not the finale was not Game of Thrones bad, guys. Like let's just be real here. Game of Thrones actually needs a remake. I don't want to spoil where I want to be with Stranger Things, but point is though, it was not bad, but yeah, I'm really glad you got to have that experience and then you got to support the business. And I mean, to be honest, your experience is probably cheaper than a regular theatrical experience because normally you have to buy the ticket and the concessions. You just had to buy concessions. A $20. So what was in that $20 voucher? Like how did that work? Did you have to get like a certain selection or could you get whatever you wanted under $20? How did that work?
So here's what they did. You buy your Stranger Things ticket, you pay for your ticket, and you get $10 off of the food that you buy. So if you pay like anything, let's say if you pay like a $20 meal, it takes $10 off of that meal, basically. Or if you pay for a $10 meal, you get it for free. That's how it went.
Also, it was $10, not $20.
Yeah, $10. Did I say 20?
I thought it was. I read 20 somewhere.
I
20.
It was 10 for me.
Oh, okay. What the? Let me. Maybe I don't know. Oh, the vouchers cost $20 per seat. Is what that's what it said in the article right here, just so people know that I'm not going crazy.
I think it was $12 for me when I went up there. Maybe I'm tripping.
such concession vouchers cost $20 per seat. That's what it said. So
Oh, is it? Or maybe it's just for the AMC theaters. Because mine was a
yeah, I mean,
Regal.
different theaters do different things, so it's not totally out of the realm of possibility that it was just a different experience. But yeah, so but you could get whatever you want. You weren't like forced to get like, let's say, a pizza and a soda. You could actually get, like, if you wanted like a popcorn, you would just get $10 off that popcorn, because let's be honest, those popcorn prices are ridiculously overpriced.
Oh yeah, they sure are. I got me a hot dog.
Oh, nice. Yeah, movie theaters have decently good hot dogs. So wait, did you get only one hot dog?
Yeah, I got one for me, and I was with my brother too, and he got some food. I got him some food too with paying for it. So
Well, like what I'm saying, like, did the hot dog would the hot dog have costed over $10?
no, unless if you're paying for a drink.
I
Yep,
agree, Zod. It's never bad. I mean, your cholesterol might disagree with you on that, though, but yeah, but still, that was just. I'm really glad you got to have that experience. And like, how did the audience react after when the credits rolled?
they were clapping and cheering on, bro. It was awesome.
Really
Yeah, they
interesting.
or I wouldn't say. I think they were clapping at the end, but I I'll get into a little bit when we get to our other topics. But there were like certain parts where like they were like clapping and like cheering on certain scenes, but I'm not gonna get into it, like, especially when we get to the next topic.
Okay, sounds good. But no matter what people thought of the finale, people in their theaters sounded like they had a good time, though.
Yep, they sure did.
So now we're gonna get into Stranger Things overall, our thoughts on the series. So we're gonna still avoid spoiling the finale, but we're gonna kind of just give our general thoughts on Stranger Things overall. And I'll start with you, the Curly Ray. What's your thoughts on Stranger Things as for a series as a whole?
Man, so I did not start watching this series until, like, season 4. Because back then, like, whenever all the other seasons were coming out, I didn't really care about the show. Not to say I didn't think it was bad or nothing, because I mean, I knew a lot of people loved it. I just didn't really care for it at the time. Because there's some other things I just don't care about. But I was told by my family members and my friends for years that I should check the show out. And I did around like late 2022, I think, when the new season came out. And yo, like, I'm so glad they got me to watch the show because while I love like the world, the lore, the theme to the show, like in the 80s, and the vibe that the show brings to the table, it is really amazing. And this is definitely like in my top 10 favorite shows of all time. It is a wonderful show. The whole entire like story is amazing. How you get to meet, with these kids that, are against, these demogorgons and, these supernatural beings, and they have to like, I wouldn't say like supernatural, like, ghosts or nothing, but these creatures. And it's like almost like 80s horror, basically, like, more almost even like with mystery, and it's a really great show. And I've loved every single bit of this universe. I can't wait for the animated show that's going to be coming out soon. And I really hope I get the chance to check out the Stranger Things thing at the Netflix house in Dallas. And it's really awesome. And Season 5 was incredible. The finale was amazing, which I know we're going to get to that here in a minute. But I just want to say, man, this show's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's a phenomenal show. Netflix did a great work. The Duffer Brothers did great work. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Seasons 1 and 2, I love those seasons. I give those seasons 10 out of 10, some of the best television ever. Seeing the kids on the run from the government and trying to find Will and Will trying to overcome the mind flayer in him. It's a really great show, even with that bad episode, because in season 2 that one episode where Elle goes to Chicago and meets with her sister, quote unquote, and
Yes.
like how that's like regarded as like one of the most hated episodes of the series.
Yes. I do remember that episode.
And for me, here's my thing. I don't think it was a bad episode. I think it was poorly placed. Like, in my honest opinion, if you flip that episode around with episode 6, because those two episodes took place at the same time, I think it would have been a lot better received because they put it right after a major cliffhanger. And the cliffhanger in the episode before that episode wasn't as bad. But this one, that cliffhanger was so bad, and it's like, you got people want to see what happens next, and you're off on this little side quest with Elle. So I see why people didn't like it, but I think even with that episode, I still love seasons 1 and 2. I'm not gonna lie, season 3 definitely took a bit of a nosedive for me. It was still a good show. I'm not saying it was a bad show, but there was certain magic that was lost in. Yes, I know I'm nitpicking. I am nitpicking. I'm not gonna lie. Season 3 started off slow for me. And okay, yeah, if we're gonna spam 6, 7, I'm banning it. I'm not doing that. But anyways, lost my train of thought here, but it started off slow, but even season 3, it still ended off really strong. And I really like that. I do. Hopper pissed me off in season 3, not gonna lie, but I do understand he was an overprotective father. Season 4, I really liked season 4. I love the dark vibes of season 4. I think it was really great. And seeing it, like, Eddie was a character that you kind of had to warm up to a little bit because at first I'm like, this guy's a freaking weirdo. But what I like about him, Eddie's a great example of don't judge a book by its cover, right? Because let's be honest, a lot of people might see someone like Eddie in the real world, and it's how you see him in the first episode. This guy who sells weed acts like a weirdo. I'm not gonna lie, I might have walked away from him, but it shows that don't judge a book by its cover. So I really liked Eddie's character, and season 5, I like season 5 too. I understand some of the criticisms with the second half of the season, maybe a little slow. Like, I think starting in season 3, sometimes you get a little too many characters at times. Like, you get Argyle, you got Robin's love interest. So I understand some of the criticism behind it. And I do think season 5, there were certain points where it felt like there were too many cooks in the kitchen. But I don't agree with a lot of the criticism either. Like Will's coming out scene, which, again, anything outside of season 5, just so people know, outside of the finale, spoilers are on the table, just so people know. So if you haven't seen past season 2, you might want to leave now. But people got so mad at Will's coming out scene that, oh my God, it's so woke, it's so stupid, and blah, 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 blah. And I'll tell you this, TheCurlyRay. If Stranger Things took place well, yeah, we know that, but we know he's gay. It's the way some people are criticizing the way it came out. And I'm going to say that if this series came out, or not came out, sorry, if it took place in, let's say, 2025, I'm not going to lie, I would think a scene like that is stupid. But this scene takes place in the 80s. Being gay was not acceptable back then, the way it's accepted right now. So it makes sense for Will to have the reaction that he did, telling everyone, because Vecna was using Will's fears against him. That was a fear that he had, was not being accepted. That's why he had to share it with the entire group. And what I liked about it is that Will wasn't a gay character. He was a character who happened to be gay. Now, do you know what I mean when I say that, TheCurlyRay?
Yeah, he didn't come out. It's kind of like, because Good Austin was actually talking about this on stream. Like, he didn't come out and say he was gay. He just didn't, like, girls like that. Now, honestly, in my opinion, not to go too like, I don't want to go like too political or nothing. I'm not a fan of people being gay. Okay, but I'm not gonna take that to say that Will's development was terrible or it was bad writing or the way it was meant to be like that because that the way I don't want to gosh bro I want to talk about something but I don't want to do it without spoiling it but I'll just put it that way it was a part of good development. I'm going to put it that way because I'm very careful.
Okay, that's fair. And like for me, what I mean is when my comment was basically Will is a character, has many things about him, and being gay is just one aspect of him. That's what I mean when I say something like that. Like, I don't like when characters are defined by their sexuality. I like it when it's just a part of many personalities with them. Point is, it was really good for Will's development. It was really good for Will's character. I don't think it was a stupid scene. I think a lot of people are so used to like CW, how they do representation where they define characters by this stuff and not have a character who just happens to be this stuff. So I think I've seen that criticism and I wanted to address it because I think it's a stupid criticism. I thought it was a great scene and it just shows Vecna was trying to use Will's fears against him. But Vecna, I really like. What's your thoughts on the Mind Flayer and Vecna?
Man, wait, are you talk? Man,
In general, not the finale, but just in general.
okay, yeah, man. It is very. It kind of reminded me. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. It kind of reminded me of Dark Side and the Anti-Life Equation. It kind of did because, or I don't know if I should compare it to that. There's something else I'm trying to compare it to, but it's something else, man. There's something else I'm trying to think about. It reminds me of something. I cannot remember what it reminds me of, but I think it is a pretty cool concept because, you know, it's pretty much this thing that's been trying to. Okay, give me more if I'm getting too close to spoilers. If you
Okay.
can. Okay. So I think it is a pretty cool concept, you know, because we know it's been something that, has been trying to do something and
Do you want to just save it till we get to the finale?
yeah, I'll
I
say
can
it.
kind of tell
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I
Yeah.
can
I'm
tell
gonna
you're
do it.
struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I'm
yeah, no
struggling
problem.
too much. I'm sorry, bro.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, better.
Now,
We'll get to the.
if you want me to give my thoughts on Vecna, he is a badass villain. I'll put it that way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He is a really badass villain. Very intimidating. I do wish we saw him more as Vecna and less as Henry in season 5. I understand they may want to see effects on the budget, but even still as Henry, he was still pretty intimidating. And I love the whole world as a whole. I mean, I love the kids. I love Hopper. I love the character Elle. I think she's a really great character, really badass character, and a really tragic character. I mean, she spent her whole life, like since childbirth, being experimented on, and it was really tragic. She had a really tragic backstory, and it was really nice to see her actually grow, like develop, get friends, and look at her development just in speech pattern alone. In season 1, she can barely talk. She like talks in the biggest fragments ever, barely saying words. And season 5, it's she's talking like
Talking normally.
yeah, talking normally, talking like how we talk. And what up, Josh?
What's up, Josh Herrera?
But yeah, and it's really I really like seeing development like that. And there were Sin Havoc. There were, I mean, they literally implied it in season 1 too, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I mean, where was I? Where was I? Lost my train of thought. But I really just love the character development of this show. It's a really great character development, and or like seeing Hopper going from a bitter old man to like someone who lost his daughter and just shuts off from the world to actually having people he cares about again, learning to live again. There's so much great character development, and seeing the boys grow up. I really like that. But I will say one thing to Curly Ray, and I want to know your thoughts on this. I kind of wish they were able to film the season sooner because there were certain points where it's like Mike, especially because Mike had a big growth spurt. Like he grew a lot between seasons 3 and 4, and I don't think that he could grow in the time that the season supposedly takes place.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I think that's the problem when you have kid actors, because like adults, you can get away with it a lot. Like adults, you can hide age a lot more with adults than you can with kids. Like kids age a lot more than adults. Like in a year, a kid looks completely different, whereas like someone my age, I could look mostly the same in 5 years. So it's a lot harder, I feel like, with kids. So that's just the kind of problem you have to unfortunately have to deal with. Like Better Call Saul. Like, did you ever watch Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul?
Man, I hadn't seen both of them. I need to watch Breaking Bad though. There's been one guy who's been telling me to watch that show for quite some time, and I do need to watch it. I would learn
Both
a
are on
lot
Net-
from that show.
both are on Netflix, but basically the point is Better Call Saul is a prequel, and you have a lot of characters from Breaking Bad who are in Better Call Saul. And the characters in Better Call Saul that are in Breaking Bad, they look older. They look noticeably older than they were in Breaking Bad, even though Better Call Saul takes place before Breaking Bad, because the actors age. That happens. So I wish they were able to film more, but film it sooner. Like maybe even film seasons 4 and 5 back to back or something. Because I think COVID kind of messed it up too. Like because I think season 4 might have gotten delayed due to COVID because that came out in 2022. So that might have had a bit of an effect on it too. But I don't know. Is there anything else with the series overall that you want to talk about?
Um, Other than just like outside of the finale, it's like I said, man, this show's awesome. I love the characters, I love the lore, and I love everything about the show.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because like I'll just kind of say my experience with the show is that I watched seasons 1 and 2 back to back in 2017 or 18. I think it was like the new year, so it was like the trip between those two. But it was sometime around then. And
Yeah.
then I rewatched it before season 3 came out, and then I missed season 4. So then what I did is this year, or technically last year because it's the new year right now, but starting in November, last November, I started because like if I haven't watched a show in a while, I like to rewatch it before the new season comes out so I don't forget anything. So I rewatched seasons 1 through 3, watched season 4 for the first time, and then watched season 5. And I was all caught up by Christmas Day. By Christmas Day, I was able to watch the new episodes, no problem. But that was my experience with it. But overall, great show. Now, oh, hold on, I have to change the time on the banner. But anyways, the Curly Ray. What did you want to? Oh wait, hold on a second before I say anything. So we are in the spoiler warning, guys. So I'm going to unpin this, and I'm going to say Stranger Things finale spoiler warning. So I'm going to put a warning right here, guys. So the finale for Stranger Things, we are in spoiler territory. So if you have not seen the finale, leave now unless you don't care about spoilers, in which case you can stay. But in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Elle supposedly dies, but maybe doesn't die in the finale. Who knows? That was a little up in the air. But
And
now I'm going to start with you, the Curly Ray. What did you want to say about the Mind Flayer and
oh, okay. So
Connect?
I think it was really cool how, like, I think the idea of the mind flayer and the concept of it was really cool. How it's just like space rock, and I heard there's like because I need to see the little prequel to it, the first shadow that kind of leads into the origin of that. But what I like about the rock is that it's this like energy within like this like meteor or this rock, and it like takes over Henry, and it like sees certain things of the world, and it tries to take control. It takes control of Henry and all that, and eventually Henry becomes Vecna at that point. And I think it was a really really cool concept. It was super dope. It kind of reminded me of it a little bit with Pennywise, but it was really cool.
Yeah, I liked it, and what I really liked about that was with Will when Will tried to like saw Vecna or saw Henry being corrupted by the Rock, and Will's like, "You're just like me. You can fight it." I was worried they were going to give Henry a redemption arc because I'm like, no, you didn't set this up. You can't just have this guy turn good all of a sudden. But I like that Will did try to turn him good, and then Henry was too far gone. It shows because it shows how circumstances can really change a person, how the people around you can change a person. You had Will, who had the loving mom, a loving brother, caring friends, and you had Henry, who clearly didn't have any of that. That was the only difference between the two, but it shows like Will was able to resist the mind flare because of it, whereas Henry didn't even try because he didn't grow up in that environment. So it shows how circumstances can really shape a person. So I thought that was a really cool concept. And I like that Will tried to turn him good, but he was just too far gone. There was no turning him good at that point. Maybe when he first had the Rock, if Will was there and had all that knowledge, he could have talked Henry out of it. But at that point, no, Henry caused way too much damage. So, like, his mind was way too corrupted. So that was definitely a. So I really liked that. And people were trying to say that they went down the mind flayer and Henry and Vecna, whatever you want to call him, went down way too easily. I'm like, no, the show has always established that it's a hive mind. That if you hurt one, the whole hive mind falls.
Vecna was going up against two freaking squads. You had L and the other person against like you had L and the other people versus Vecna going against those, and then Vecna also going against Steve, Dustin, and all of the others. Two different groups of people. And there were even people saying like where are the Demogorgons at? Like it's all formed in that monster at the very end. All there. So it's no coincidence that they would. Yeah, I'm still trying to recover from this cold. But you cannot like it's literally resolved throughout one season. This whole finale, this whole episode is literally an episode. This 2-hour episode is an episode. It's not the whole freaking season. Like you saw what Vecna did in like all these previous other episodes where the Demogorgons were attacking. Like it's crazy. And it's just really, really nuts. But the thing about Will too, man, even in the last few episodes where he overcomes it, that was a strong scene. Where Dustin and the one scene that everyone was like cheering on was when the one guy saved Steve from falling off. Like whenever they had to pause the like the rocks from like going down to the ground on that pole. Everyone was cheering on that scene, and it was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was a. And I thought Steve was gonna die. I'm like, okay, I understand you may have to kill off a character, but don't do such a lame death. Like I was like, please don't kill Steve Harrington in such a lame way. Like that's the only thing I'm asking, guys. Don't kill off any characters in a lame way. So I was glad that he survived, and like seeing him and Dustin really form a bond, and the thing is too, Al already has been able to put up a good match against Vecna. That has already been established. And fire is a weakness of all these monsters, of the Mind Flayer, of the Demogorgons. That has been established. So this shouldn't have been some shock to people that they were able to take down the bad guys so easily. The only thing I do criticize, though, and I do have a criticism with this, I wish they better explained why Will survived, because Will was part of that hive mind. I know the Duffer brothers were like, his connection was severed. I do wish there was a bit of an explanation for that on screen, because I was confused. I'm like, wait, why isn't Will dying from this?
That may be, I think the part with that, I think it was mostly because. Oh, you're talking about when they killed off Vecna?
Yeah, when they killed off Vecna, since Will was part of that hive mind, why was Will totally okay?
I think it was mainly because maybe because he wasn't really a part. I mean, he was, but he wasn't. And I think since Vecna did die, I think it wasn't going to count towards Will. That's how I see it.
I mean, maybe I would say maybe if they just showed like black smoke coming out of him instead. I think just a little thing like that might have helped a little bit, because then I would have been like, oh, okay, that makes a little more sense. But I mean, other than that, though, I didn't really have too many issues with the final fight. And again, L is powerful. L is someone who's able to stand up to Vecna. Yes, yes, and Havoc. I know I'm critical. I mean, I'm not like. I mean, another thing I do criticize while we're getting critical, I still have a hard time believing that a bomb can just blow up an entire dimension. I was still a little bleh about that one. Like how they built the bomb to blow up the Upside Down. I'm like, can you really just blow up a dimension with a bomb? Like,
Speaking of that, bro, Zack Snyder's the blueprint.
oh, really? I mean, I know he is, but like, well, in this case.
Okay. So you know where Elle sacrificed herself, technically?
Yeah.
That scene where everyone's seeing her like being blown off into the Upside Down. That is literally the blueprint moment of Superman's dad getting sucked into the tornado.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. You're right. I didn't even think about that.
And the Defo brothers are Zack Snyder fans. Is it Dufo or Defo?
Really?
Did I pronounce that on accident?
I have no idea. I have no idea. Yeah, no clue. Well, I mean, this stuff is science fiction, but I mean, I'm just saying I don't know how you can blow up a dimension with a bomb. That's all I'm saying. But
yeah, the Dufo brothers are Zack Snyder fans. And there was even DC references in the show too. Like even when they're reading the comic books,
they literally called it kryptonite for Elle and Kali, like those electronical things. They literally called it kryptonite. Which is why I say that Elle did survive, because those things Elle absolutely would not have been able to reach out to Mike if she was actually there, because she was too close to that. She was way too close. She would not have been able to use her powers like that. So Elle absolutely did survive. But I don't know. I will be honest though, I'm still not really a big fan of Elle's ending. Here's why. In season 1, she had to say goodbye to Mike. In season 3, she had to say goodbye to Mike again. Are you really torturing them again and making them say goodbye again? Like, I feel like my big issue is that Elle's been tortured her whole life. Ella's had a horrible childhood, and I just wish she got a better ending. I know, and a lot of this is personal preference. I do admit that, but I wish she got some. I just wish that like she at least got an ending with Mike. Like in my head canon, Mike finds her in Iceland within a year, and they live together. And then Mike, when he's writing on his little keyboard, Elle's just outside the room while Mike's busy at work. That's my head canon.
You know what I love about the finale for this show is that, like, you know, everyone's graduating and it kind of like leads into the 90s where You have like on the theater. I think it was Josh that mentioned this, or I think Skywalker, bro. Man, I wish they had a reference for Batman '89 in there, but they had uh Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, which I thought that was a pretty good reference. But something I think Austin did. I think Austin did mention this. I'm not too sure. I might have to go back and watch parts of the stream again. But like, what if we got like a I think he mentioned if they could do like a little Stranger Things, like a little spin-off thing where it's set like 10 years after the ending of this series where it's set in 89 and this like whole
99, you
thing.
mean?
Yeah, it could take place in 1999, like in the 90s. That would be sick.
Oh yeah. Well, so just to clarify, I was looking at the Batman release date. It got released in June, so it wouldn't have been able to reference during their graduation.
That's true. That is true.
So, but that would be cool, especially because it's almost approaching the 2000s. But one spinoff I really want to see myself is I want to see a Mike and 11 spinoff because there are some loose ends I want to see tied up still that I was kind of frustrated we didn't get tied up. Like Dr. K, she's still out there. And Dr. Owens, what happened to him? The last time we see him, he's handcuffed in that lab in season 4, and we never see him again. What happened to him? I just feel like a Mike and 11 story would be so cool. Like, I don't know, they figure out that Elle survives, they capture Mike to try to lure Elle out, and then the two reunite. I want that. I really like Mike and 11 together. I'm a big Mike and 11 shipper, so I want them to get their happy ending. I don't want any ambiguity. I demand that Elle and Mike get their happy ending. Duffer Brothers, please. You'll make a lot of money off this. And like just keep the spinoff focused on them. You don't need to bring in all these other characters back. Just focus on them. Any character needed for their story. But I want Mike and 11 to get their happy ending. Please. As a fan of Stranger Things, as a fan of what you guys have done, please give Mike and 11 their happy ending.
Batin, you forgot the best part of the finale, bro. Where Justin yells at freaking Henry. I think it might is it Dust not Dustin. I think it's Derek, I think. The little chubby kid. He's like
Dustin.
Yeah, he's like
oh, Derek. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, suck my fat one.
That was great.
That was the funniest thing ever, bro. Dude, after stream, I'm gonna DM you something that's super hilarious about that.
Josh sent me something about where he sent me a clip of all the cussing that was happening in the finale.
Oh man, it was there was something here. Let me send you something.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
It's just a picture.
Okay.
I'm just gonna send it to you. We can use look at it after the stream.
But yeah, that was great too, and I like that Hopper and Joyce got their happy ending, that they're able to move to New York. Or is it in New York, that state that they're moving to? I'm bad at geography, guys.
I think it's in New York.
Okay, so that'll be a nice ending for them, and someone pointed this out, and I agree with this. You know how Robin, Steve, Jonathan, and Nancy are like, we're going to meet up once a month, and it's going to happen, absolutely. And people are talking about how in real life, that's what happens. People say you're going to meet up, and then maybe the first one happens, maybe even the second one, but by the third one, it's like, oh, I'm too busy. Maybe one person skips. Oh, I'm too busy. Maybe one person skips and it's a different person, and slowly before you know it, it's once a year. And I don't know. I've gone back and forth on that because I feel like that is how it normally works in real life, but this is a little different. They literally saved the world together. I mean, I feel like you might make more of an effort to see each other in that circumstance. I mean, you literally saved the world together. That's a pretty big deal, guys. So I don't know. But
yep.
But I really like what Dustin said in the graduation speech, in his valedictorian speech, how people who were not friends, who shouldn't be friends, how these different cliques that shouldn't be friends became friends. Like, I'm not like it kind of made me think about this community, like the cell movement. I mean, we're all from different walks of life here. Like a lot of us. Like before I became on YouTube and became part of this community, I don't know if I would be friends with certain people, be friends with people like certain people in this community just because it's a different walk of life than what I'm used to. But through a common interest, I became friends with people from different walks of life, which I really love. I love that, and I feel like that's what Dustin was saying with in his valedictorian speech is that, hey guys, we all should have come together. We all came together, and like the jocks and the like him and Steve Harrington, like those people. Those two would never have been friends if it wasn't for all these circumstances. Let's be honest. Like Steve's like a cool guy, and Dustin's a dork ass nerd. I mean, it's not like nowadays where being a nerd is considered more cool. Back then, being a nerd was not cool. Back then, being a nerd was sucked. So, but I guess Curly Ray, is there any other highlights that you want to point out?
There was one. I feel like there was something, but other than that, man, this finale was phenomenal. I loved every single minute. Yo, and the ending. That's what it was. The ending, man, where they're about to, you know, where they're pretty much, playing Dungeons and Dragons for the last time before they have to go, and the new generation comes in and they're playing Dungeons and Dragons now. I thought that was pretty cool.
I really like that ending. I thought that was a great ending. Seeing like it's like a passing on the baton, but also like seeing Mike kind of reminiscing on like how it was like when they were kids, like from season one, how they were all playing Dungeons and Dragons. That's how it started, and now he's seeing his little sister and her friends doing what they're did. I thought that was a really touching scene. I mean, again, I really did like the finale. I only criticize I don't like what they did with Elle, honestly, because I feel like she deserved a better ending, and I don't like what they said. Well, she had to go because they had to show like their childhood growing up and that like with magic, because she has powers, her lives would never return to normal. I'm like, so you're basically saying that Elle's a burden? That's what you want to say? I don't know. I mean, that's and again, I admit this is a personal preference. I do admit that. I just feel she suffered so much that she deserved a better ending than what she got. And I wanted to see that for her. I like that they kept it ambiguous, but I guess TheCurlyRay, what do you think? Do you think Elle survived, or do you think that was just Mike coping?
I think she survived.
Yeah, I, I I do too. Because, but not just that though. When Mike's telling the story, remember he didn't see Callie die. Like he didn't see like the death scene the way it played out. So when Callie's talking to her saying, like, this is where my story ends, Mike didn't know about that. So why would Mike be imagining that?
Yep.
But yours doesn't have to. I mean, we didn't technically see Callie die right then and there. I mean, Elle might, because remember, Elle did bring Max back to life in season four, in the season four finale. She brought Max back to life. I'm sure Elle has the ability to delay the death of Callie.
That is true. That is true. That could be possible.
I mean, they weren't going to come up with like a perfect explanation of how she survived because they wanted to keep it ambiguous. If you're like perfectly explaining all this stuff, it's not ambiguous. She survived. But here's another twist. Here's another thing people don't talk about. How many waterfalls did Mike picture their perfect life?
Was it 2 or just 1?
3. He said 3 waterfalls. But when we see Elle at those waterfalls, we only saw 2. If this is just Mike's imagination, wouldn't it have had 3?
That is a good point. But I think at the same time, maybe it has to fit in with 2 for some reason. For just a reason I'm thinking is because of the 2.
The 2 what?
Stephen L. Not Stephen L.
Mike and Al.
Mike and L, yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry about that.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of story to tell because honestly, I really want to see I really want to see Dr. K pay for her crimes. I don't like that Dr. K basically just got away with it. I don't like that. So that's why I think we need this Mike and L spinoff. See Dr. K pay for her crimes, and maybe kind of meet in the middle with your idea. Maybe instead of 10 years, maybe do 5 years. Still the 90s, and just see Mike and L and see Dr. K get her competence. I can't pronounce that word, but get some punishment and see what happened to Dr. Owens. I want to see that resolved. But I'm very big on loose ends being tied up. Like also Eddie's name. I want to see Eddie's name actually clear. Because I feel bad, because as far as the public knows, Eddie killed all those people.
Yep.
So I feel bad for Eddie with that. But I mean, again, I just wanted more. I'm not gonna lie. I would have liked to have seen more. And I know a lot of this is personal preference, so I'm factoring that in. But I guess, is there any final thoughts you want to say about the finale, and what would you give it? What would you rate it as?
I would give it a 10 out of 10, man. I really loved every part of this finale. Even seeing this in the theater was awesome. And every part was just amazing. I really loved it. And yeah, I would give it a 10 out of 10.
For me, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I do think I did want to see a few more loose ends tied up with Dr. K. So I think for me, I'm going to give it a 9 point. We'll say a 9.4923465895 out of 10. I would put it up higher, but I think we needed to see a little bit more. But overall, I still think it was a great series. It was a phenomenal series. And again, I think here's the thing. At least my issues I had with this finale at least can be fixed with a spinoff. Unlike Game of Thrones, where you fix that by literally redoing Game of Thrones season 8. I don't think this needs a redo. I just want to see spinoffs expanding certain stories. What up,
Hey,
Austin?
what's up to good Austin?
But I think this was a great, again, even with my criticisms of the finale, I think this was a great move by Netflix, a great move by the Duffer Brothers. And I know I'm pronouncing this wrong. Yeah, I know, but I just don't like bad guys getting away with it. That's all I'm saying. I don't like the bad guys getting away with it. That's all I'm saying. And this is personal preference, Austin. I know. I'm just saying I want Dr. K to pay because I'm very vengeful with the bad guys like that. That's all I'm saying. I get why she wasn't there. I do get that, but I want her to pay. I want her to pay for her crimes. So, and I want to see Mike and Elle get their happy ending because I want that. And I want to see. And here's the thing: if my biggest criticism is I want to see more, it means you told a good story. I'm not saying I want to see more Game of Thrones season 8. I'm saying I want you to redo that whole season because you guys fucked that up so bad. I think you guys have a lot more story to tell. Well, yeah, I know what you mean, Austin. I know what you mean. All I'm saying is that I want to see a spinoff because I think there's more story to tell. That's all I'm saying. Because I think there's I do like the way the series ended because I like that it ended with a lot of potential for future stories, for future spinoffs. You have that. The only thing with the animated series, I'm not a big fan of it being not canon because I think they said it wasn't canon because even though it's stuck between seasons 2 and 3, I'm like, just make it canon. Why are you making it not canon? But hey, that's another cartoons and cereal you guys have coming up. So, and it'll actually be a cartoon even. So,
yep, we got that animated series coming out.
And then the one, as you were saying, the one with the origins of that rock. I think I can't wait to see that. And I think that's one where you don't really even need them. I think they said none of the Hawking characters are going to be in it. And I say, good. I don't think you need that. In fact, it wouldn't make sense to have them there. If you're going to have a story about the origins of that rock, why would any of the Hawkins characters be in it? That wouldn't make sense. So I read, again, this is alleged, Austin. This is not confirmed. I just read that somewhere. It could be total bullshit. But I thought I read somewhere the Duffer Brothers said it wasn't canon. I just hope it's not true. That's all I'm saying. Because I discuss everything on the channel. But yeah. Sorry, rambling on a little bit, but I don't know. I guess is there any other spin-off ideas you have for this series?
Um, man, I think I think we could get something more of Henry, a little bit more.
It depends how you do it though, because you can't really do young Henry unless you want to recast the kid. Because again, kids age.
Yeah,
I mean, adults, everyone ages, but like again, it's not as jarring with adults as it is with kids. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Austin. That's why I'm saying I hope it's not true because it wouldn't make sense for it to be true. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I hope it's not true. But anyway, so I would definitely love to see a Henry spinoff because I think there's a lot of great stories you can tell with Henry. But my big thing is I want that Mike and 11 spinoff. I need that Mike and 11 spinoff. I want to see that story concluded. I want to see Dr. K pay. And again, I know why she disappeared, but I want to see her pay for her crimes. That's all I'm saying. I want to see that. I want to see that evil bitch pay for her crimes. Okay, okay. But anyways. Overall, though, I really did like the finale. I really did like my experience with Stranger Things, and I love Netflix marketing with it. It was so great how Netflix marketed. Like I love, because like for me, Christmas Day, I did everything on Christmas. I did my whole family stuff on the 23rd and the 24th. So the 25th, I totally engaged with Netflix that day. So I watched both football games and the new Stranger Things episodes. And it was so I love seeing the ads for the Stranger Things related ads. That was so cool to see. And like Netflix really embraced it all. And like they even had like YouTube videos of like the cast coming out. Like you had Lucas and Dustin coming out talking about uh oh yeah, how they're watching the football games, and then right after that, Stranger Things. They were like, and then you had like Hopper announcing the football games. It was a lot of cool stuff they did. Like Netflix is genius with marketing, and again, this whole experience was great. Again, at the end of the day, my only criticism is I want to see more because you did such a damn good job of it, and I think there's more story to tell. Not with all the characters, except with Mike and Elle, but I think there's so many good stories that they can tell still. So I hope, like I said, I hope this is not. When I say the end, I know they're doing prequel stuff, but like I hope this is. So obviously I don't count that because that's before, so that this would still be the chronological end. I'm saying I hope this is not the end, the chronological end of Stranger Things, because I want to see more. There's lots of stories they can tell. And I'll tell you this, TheCurlyRay, I'm not someone who's big on like things continuing. Okay, like I'm someone who a lot of times says, please end it there. Like when Lucifer was doing season 6, I was like, please don't do that. Season 5 was what you were meant to end it on. I mean, obviously they changed the ending of season 5. Or Supernatural, when it was supposed to end at season 5. Please don't continue. So if I'm saying continue on with the series, continue on with it in some way, you should do it. So, anything else you want to say?
I think that's it, man. This finale was really awesome, and I think I may watch Stranger Things later on again when I have the time to, because we're always have the opportunity to watch a show again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, obviously, I would respect if the actors didn't want to do it. I'm not saying that, and again, I'm not saying they have to do this next year. I'm saying like in a few years. I'm saying that's all I'm saying, and it can be like a one-off special even too. But if they don't want to do it, I would respect them for it. Okay, I'm just saying that I, as a consumer and expressing an interest, I'm going to let the actors and the showrunners decide what works for them. That's all I'm saying. But I think there's a lot of great potential and a lot of great. I think this was a great move with Netflix at the end of the day. I think this is a really great move. And I guess what's coming up on your channel?
So, um, currently, right now, I am in the works on a few things. Not going to get into what those few things are, but I will say I may be taking a tiny bit of a tiny break for a bit until things are coming up, and I will. I may be back with another stream very soon. Just maybe.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. And coming up on this channel, I'm going to be doing a lot more promoting for the Netflix acquisition of Warner Brothers because I think there's a lot of great stuff coming out. You know, Ben Affleck has this new movie coming out this year, R.I.P. So I'll definitely be covering that. So, and I think Dawn of the Dead is on Netflix right now. So there's a lot of great potential for stuff coming out on this channel. As I said, there'll be some changes on this channel that I'll be slowly communicating as they come. But I'm off to a great new year, and no, Sin Havoc, you're not God. No, no. But anyways, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great discussions such as these. And on that note, any final words, the Curly Ray?
So I'm just kidding. Happy New Year. I know it's like 3 days later, but Happy New Year 2026.
Have a fantastic year.